All right, hi everybody. John Meadows here with my awesome genius friend, Dr. Scott Stevenson. And today we're here in Toronto, Canada, and for the Swiss Symposium. And this gentleman has been on the road a lot. So what he's going to talk about today is some travel tips, like when you're going around everywhere, how do you stay on track? So, all right, let's talk about some tips you have.
Okay, so yes, some of these would be RV specific because I travel with my RV as much as I possibly can. Some people have actually thought about that. If you have dogs, for instance, I got an RV that was less than the cost of an average car, and I can travel over the place. I went to the Olympia, went and saw friends. Of course, I can work online, so that allows me to do this. But the main thing that allowed me to do all this when I'm stopping, gosh, I think I was at a half a dozen RV parks, and I can't about that many Airbnbs, is simply having a system. So people that have traveled a lot, I've even heard of people that literally, they pack the same bag every single time with the same clothes. You'll see them in distant locations wearing the same thing. I'm one of those people. You can actually look at that if you want to spend the time, you can figure that out and see me wearing the same things when I'm doing the same sorts of presentations or same kinds of events. So the system is really, really important. That way you don't have the stress of trying to figure out what do I need, what I don't need. I literally kept my DOP kit packed the entire time, like with all the sort of things that I could take on the plane. So that was already there, already in place. The big trick that I've seen other people talk about, but it works really well, I actually cooked, and I traveled, I didn't even check a bag this time. I was only gone for 2 days, so not a big deal. You can cook your food and freeze it, and put it in a checked bag, or just put it in your carry-on too. It will stay cold for quite a while. What I did, I wing it every time to some degree. There was actually a recycling container in my hotel room that I used as a cooler. So in morning and night, I go and fill up ice, and I created a cooler and kept my food cold. So actually, I have cooked food for my trip back home today that I cooked on Thursday or Friday before I left. So I'm going to use that food while I'm there. So that's the big tip, is basically to have a system for food, toiletries, accessories, etc., and keep with that system. And that way, if you travel a lot, travel repeatedly, you're not trying to rethink and reinvent the wheel each time. And the food thing can be done. The other thing, of course, is protein can always be packed. Everyone knows to bring protein powders, but label them. You can't get into troubles. The guys seem to know at TSA, if you've got protein powders, other protein powders, they can probably look at you a lot of times and say, okay, this guy's gonna have protein powder. I'm guessing that's what that probably is under the x-ray. So have a system, figure out what you need, what you don't need. You can travel, of course, with nuts. If you like trail mix and that sort of thing, that works wonderfully. Protein powders, always can eat your protein. You can find carbs and fat anywhere, pretty much. But if you go to an airport, you want to get like a burger or something like that, $18 burger, and it's about that thin. So protein powder can be your friend. Of course, you don't want to do too much of that, but having a system and just keep using the same system, of course, refining it as you go along would be my big travel tip.
So you made me think about something.
Okay.
So one of the challenges I have when I travel is some rooms have microwaves and some don't.
Right.
So one of the things I used to do was run water through the coffee maker to get it hot,
Yes.
and then I would put it in like oatmeal or cream of rice,
Right.
and it would essentially cook it for me.
Uh-huh.
So I couldn't put my water in and put it in a microwave, so I just used the coffee maker as my like hot water.
Right.
And then I would put that in and so if I needed to cook something like oats or rice, or that was something I used to do.
Yeah.
Because you never know. Sometimes, like here, we don't have a fridge, we don't have a microwave.
There's nothing. Yeah.
We don't have nothing. So if you haven't packed anything, now all of a sudden you got to get a little bit more creative.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I did. I used to take the little George Foreman grill, and you can actually turn it upside down, and you can actually cook eggs on it, on the lid. Mm-hmm. So we used to do that too. You're not technically supposed to plug electrical appliances in, but we used to turn that upside down, a little one. We could even make eggs for breakfast, and then use the coffee maker to make your oats. So you got eggs and oatmeal.
Yeah.
You know, which was pretty cool.
If you do have a microwave, you could always find one. There are actually microwavable rice cookers, they're just basically plastic plastic containers. There's plastics can be an issue, of course. I have no idea where they are as far as phytoestrogens and xenoestrogens and that sort of thing. But you can cook rice on the road if you need to. Rice is easy to get, usually pretty cheap. The other thing that you reminded me of, as far as temperature goes, is that you have food that you've cooked and refrigerated. You can eat that on the road, and then you can layer your food, so the stuff that's deepest, anything that's underneath in the belly of a plane is going to stay frozen. It's really cold down there. You may notice that sometimes if you get your suitcase off, it's usually pretty cold because they're at altitude. But the things that are on the outside, or things you want to separate, will be thawed first. So literally you can kind of do a controlled thaw of your food. The stuff you're going to plan on eat later in your trip would be the deepest in the core, just like anything that would melt in the cooler. The stuff on the outside is going to melt first as the heat comes in. So you can literally sort of plan and layer your food. That's sort of an art form, but that's something that I've done as well.
Yeah, and one more thing to think about.
Yeah, we're just coming up with stuff now.
Yeah, so for those of you who like to fast every once in a while, when you travel, when you fly, is a great time to fast. So then you don't have to worry about food. I mean, you don't have to, bring a bunch with you, right? You can pack it, but one of the things that when I do my fasts, which are probably once every 2 weeks now, honestly, is I do them when I travel. So I don't have to worry about eating. I go to the airport, have a big dinner the night before, wake up, go to the airport, travel, do all this stuff, and then have dinner when I get to where I go. So that's another way to get some health benefits, not have to worry about food if you don't have a system. So this is another option for those, because I know a lot of you like to kind of tinker around with fasting. That's another kind of easy way to implement it and make life
Right.
simple. So there you go. So a system, coffee maker, a George Foreman grill, flash freezing or freezing all your food and packing it, and you should be in good shape.
Yep.
So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Travel safe.